Hello again, it's Garson, and we're going to finally talk about the subclass for monks, the new way of the Drunken Master that's going to come out with patch 8. Once they finish up with the stress test, they'll release this to the world, and you can become the life of the party by getting your targets drunk. So, without further ado, make sure you drink, have a drink, give everybody some fun with a beer to the face. So, we have a good old Tavern Brawler monk here. Tons of damage with the Elixir of Strength. Tavern Brawler doubling our punchy damage. Where's the Tavern Brawler? There she is. Okay, so, of course, you can get somebody drunk. If you do, let's see if I can get the Intoxicating Strike off. Boom! Alright, that's fine. Maybe he'll go ahead and miss me. So I'll use some Patient Defense. There we go. See if I can get them to hit each other with the reaction. Oh, you missed. Oh, you missed again. Oh, there's the redirect attack. So, redirect. Now he's gonna go ahead and hit Arnson. That's right. Good job, buddy. So, let me go ahead and get you drunk. Oh, you're dead. Too bad. Let me go ahead and get you drunk. Boom! There we go. Alright, so now he's drunk. So what does drunk do? Well, it makes them have disadvantage on dexterity and charisma checks. Yeah, we'll talk about that. But of course, what we could do is just absolutely annihilate people with the flurry of blows. Boop, boop. Oh, I didn't finish him off. That's fine. Now I have disengage and a little more movement, so we can get Murphy in the fight. There we go. Oh my goodness. All right. So Murphy, huh? Here he comes. Here he comes. Let's see. You got 5 turns of drunk, so it's fine. Oh, he missed. Come on, miss me. There we go. Redirect your attack. Go punch Murphy or somebody. There you go. Throw it at Murphy. Good job, buddy. Oh. Oh no. I've already used my reaction. Okay. Okay. Well, I think we need to give Aronson a little sobering realization. Whoa, bam! And then we go right back into getting other people drunk. Here we go. Come on. Come on. You know you want to drink. You know you want to drink. Alright, so I do have a life of the party, even though he didn't get drunk, right? So this gives me 1 armor class and a +1 to drunk targets. So I can stack. This is great, even though I didn't get drunk. But if I get attacked, I lose life of the party. Oh well. I'll just use redirect. Who's he going to attack? Nobody. Okay, so let's go ahead and just finish him off. I can't use this because he's not drunk. It's okay. Just use a good old flurry of blows, drunken technique. Ba-bam! Alright, so there we go. Definitely strong, definitely powerful, but is it more of the subclass or is it more of just good old Tavern Brawler monk? I'm gonna go roll it back and we're gonna do a little breakdown video. This should be actually a pretty snappy one. So we are talking about the way of the Drunken Master. Have a round on me from HJW ASCII Art Archive. Thanks for the little beer art right there. And a big thank you to you guys because I have access to the stress test. I know it's getting a little while now that, like, when is this thing coming out? I wish I had the answer. All I can do is just try and give you guys some coverage. So I pay it forward by trying to give you some info on what's coming down with the patch 8. What's the state of things? Are things going to change? We'll see. But today we're going to talk about the Drunk Monk. So if you just want to jump around the video, there's actually not going to be too much to talk about, not really a build time. But if you want to support the channel, just watch the whole video. I promise it won't be that long, and it's probably going to fill you in if you've never played a monk before, and also see what's the fuss about the Drunken Master, alright? So without further ado, thank you so much. Let's dive in. Now, patch 8 questions. Obviously, I'm covering your questions. I really appreciate it. I've been compiling them in the comments, but I had a question for you guys because I always say, hey, patch 8 stress tests, we're here, we're seeing things. Things have changed as they've tested things in a sort of beta for the stress test. So hopefully they can get this out, but I asked in a previous video, does the Drunken Master have a problem? Because before I start focusing on a breakdown video, I wanted to see if I was playing something dumb. I don't know everything. Even in this video, I might have a harsh viewpoint on this, so I'm going to try and hold it on the commentary. But I do ask if you see anything or know anything about what I do in this breakdown, let me know. I'll try and answer your questions in general, but I'm trying to know, is there something I'm doing wrong? Because you'll see in a moment, this subclass has an issue, okay? So I'll hold on the commentary for now. This is a new subclass. Every single class gets a new subclass in patch 8. And for monks, we get the Drunken Master. So we'll dive right into it as usual with a breakdown. I try and refresh you, or if you've never played this class before, here's some key points. Pun intended, I guess. All right, so here's some key points. Martial fighters. Monks are martial fighters. What I mean by that is you get the typical extra attack at level 5. You can fight with your weapons, and there's even some cool features for monks who fight with weapons. But the nice unique thing about monks is they're the punchy class. Well, they're not exactly the punchy class, but if you ever wanted to punch, you do need to take like a level 1 dip into monk and just get some of the key features here. But what are they, right? Well, they are really good at punches. They can be pretty good at weapons. They do get their extra attack with unarmed attacks or weapon attacks or even bows, right, at level 5. And they get what's called the martial arts, okay? So the first 3 you'll just get for being a level 1 monk is bonus to unarmed strikes. We'll try and pull these up. So bonus to unarmed strikes, basically after making an attack with a monk weapon or while unarmed, right? So if I were to make a regular unarmed attack or a monk weapon attack, like using a staff, right? The monk weapon, we can actually get a free attack with our bonus action of an unarmed strike, which is great because we get deft strikes. So what is deft strikes? If you go to here, we can do attacks with a monk weapon, and unarmed attacks now deal 1d8 bludgeoning damage unless their normal damage is higher. What this effectively means is your unarmed strikes now do 1d8 already, just like right off the bat. I believe it starts 1d6 and then gets better the more you play monk, right? It's like 1d4, 1d6, 1d8 as you level up. But now they also operate off of dexterity or strength, whichever is higher. So that's actually really cool. So like the staff here actually operates off of dexterity, right? It says strength because it's higher, but if my strength was lower, it would actually now go off of dexterity, okay? So certain weapons apply as a monk weapon as long as they're like not a two-hander weapon, okay? So that's pretty cool. So unarmed or weapons that apply to this could get a bonus, like more damage, plus they can operate off of dexterous attacks, right? So dexterous attacks, last feature here, attacks with monk weapons. So anything you have proficiency with and is not two-handed weapon, right? It could be versatile two-handed, but not the two-handed weapon property. You can now use your dexterity instead of your strength if that were higher, so you really can't lose either way, which way you're going, right? But for a Tavern Brawler set, we naturally have high strength from the elixir, and we'll get into that later. But anyway, at level 6, you actually get key empowered strikes, and your unarmed, where is it? Key empowered strikes. Your unarmed attacks now ignore resistances to bludgeoning. You know, basically just makes them into magical punching attacks. So if there's no magical resistance to bludgeoning, you can do your full damage with unarmed strikes against targets with resistance. All right, enough about that. So unarmed defense is a really key feature to monks, I feel. It gives them a lot of identity. Basically, unarmed defense means you get a bonus from your wisdom to your armor class, which is great because you're already getting a bonus from your dexterity when you're not wearing any kind of armor or whatnot. So if you're not wearing armor and shields, you get more armor class from your wisdom investment, all right? And so at 16, this would be the equivalent of mage armor, which is funny because you can't stack this with mage armor. And if you were a barbarian, you can't stack this with the same thing that goes off of constitution, okay? So whichever's higher if you had a multi-class like that. But for just straight flat 12 levels of monk and you're not using any kind of armor or shields, you can get a bonus based on your wisdom modifier. So I have +4 armor class. And that's really good because a lot of monk gear and the way you build a monk can really benefit from not having any armor, because you also get unarmored movement for no shields and just using cloth gear. That's why I have a naturally high movement before using long strider or any kind of gear that benefits this. 50 movement's a lot, dude. Especially once you use Step of the Wind dash. This is crazy. You just doubled it up to 100. So you have a lot of movement as a monk, especially if you're not using armor, right? And there's some really good pieces like the Bracers of Defense to push it further. Anyway, stillness of mind, so just something to think about. You automatically break out of charms and frightened condition, but it will use your action. This is an automatic feature, and it's later on in the monk, but it's stillness of mind right here. There we go. So it can't be charmed or frightened, or when you are charmed and frightened, you'll break out of it automatically, but it'll use up your action. There's purity of body. You'll notice that I have immunity to poison and immunity to poison effects. So that's pretty good. Again, that comes later in Monk as you level up. And finally, the key defining the defining feature of monks is the key point system. So key points are a short rest resource. Depending on your subclass or just base monk, you'll be using this for some of your, signature abilities, and you get like, I think 2 right at the start at level 1, and you'll get 1 more key point for every level. So I'm level 12 monk. I naturally have 13 key points, but they come back on short rest. And so this is a really great resource system because they're just easy to use, come back on short rest. And you get more the more you invest in monks, so you're always getting something. Okay. Now, Flurry of Blows is one of the most signature moves on a monk that I can think of. You're actually going to attack with your bonus action if you're willing to spend the bonus and the key point. Just 1 key point gives you 2 unarmed attacks. Even if you're wielding a weapon, you can still use your bonus action to pull off a double attack. This is quite frankly equivalent to having extra attack even earlier before your level 5 extra attack. So it's something I love about the monk class, and it can be really deadly, especially with a tavern brawler set, right? So it's a bonus action, 1 key point, 2 unarmed attacks at the same time, right? And you can also do things like stunning strike with a weapon attack or with an unarmed attack. It'll be an action and 1 key point, but it can also possibly stun them, and it goes off your strength or dexterity, whatever you're using for the attack, and then it's a constitution saving throw, right? So if they have a low constitution saving throw, you can stun targets, effectively skipping their turn while doing damage is really powerful. Then there's Step of the Wind, as we like to call it, but Step of the Wind. It's a bonus action. You can either choose a disengage or dash. These are the normal dash or disengage effects, which are very strong on bonus actions. You will have to spend a key point, but now you can actually jump for free. So your jump will not cost a bonus action anymore. So as long as you have movement, you can jump for free after you cast these, especially with dash. You can just jump a hell of a lot when you have 100 movement from doubling it with dash. So this is actually really powerful. One of the low-key, here it is again, one of the low-key amazing things about Monk is using Step of the Wind. Patient defense is pretty good too. It's going to give you your opponents disadvantage when they try to attack you with, like attack rolls, but you'll also have dexterity saving throw advantage. So like lightning bolt and fireball, all those dangerous spells, you have advantage to dodge them out of the way. You even get evasion, which I forgot the list here. Let me just pull this up because it's related. If you actually dodge an attack, like a dexterity saving throw, you don't get half the damage on certain spells. You get no damage. So as long as you dodge it, especially using patient defense, you have that advantage of evasion, similar to rogues. I think it's the same thing. So patient defense is 1 key point and a bonus action, but you'll have it for like the whole rest of the round. And it gives attackers disadvantage and dexterity saving throw advantage for you. Alright, so deflect missile, just something to highlight here. Cool little feature. You can actually deflect missiles and then possibly redirect them. All it is you use your reaction point, right? And you can actually use a 1d10, your dexterity modifier, your monk level, and say somebody's shooting an arrow at you, you can deflect that, possibly do 0 damage, and if it does deflect all the damage, you can then spend a key point to send the attack back at them, which is actually just an unarmed attack in return. So if you have a very strong unarmed attack, there we go. If you have actually very strong unarmed attack, you can send it back to them in that way. Okay, then there's the subclasses. So hopefully that was a good rundown on the monk class if you never played it. What it will do now is focus on, you are giving up all the other subclasses if you were to choose the new Way of the Drunken Master, okay? So we'll just go over some stuff, and I gotta say, I really value the visuals, okay? Probably the best thing about the subclass is less about gameplay and more about the hilarious, like, drunken animations you have. I absolutely love it. It's been a blast playing through this, okay? But that aside, level 3, you get Cheeky Tipple, or Cheeky Topple. Is it Topple or Tipple? Oh my gosh. Let's pull up, yeah, Cheeky Tipple. So, you're immune to the negative effects of drunk, meaning you can't get disadvantage on charisma and dexterity checks, so you can just be drunk all the time. But the first time you drink in a day or a long rest period, you actually restore half of your key points, okay? So if I have 13 right now. It rounds down. So I would actually get 6 key points back, I think. All right. So you're immune to the negative effects of drunk. You gain half your key points once per long rest. You also get proficiency in performance. So you do have the little star right here. And then you get Drunken Technique. This is just Flurry of Blows. Okay, so at the 3rd level, you would have Flurry of Blows already. This would now transform it into Drunken Technique. You attack twice like normal, spend a key point. It's a bonus action, but it now gives you the disengage effect and 10 extra feet of movement. So you can just get into the thick of things, do a lot of damage, and you can just disengage out of there, dance around everybody. It's really good. Okay, I know from using it. But then we move on to level 4. There is the Intoxicating Strike. There's 2 versions. There's a bonus action or an action. Even if you're wielding a weapon, it's just an unarmed attack, right? So you spend either an action or a bonus action, 1 key point. I don't know why that was kit. And it's unarmed attack possibly can get them drunk. So remember, drunk is disadvantage to dexterity and charisma checks. We'll talk about that in a moment. Okay. Level 6, you actually leap to your feet when you're prone. You will actually spend way less movement. Instead of half your movement, you only spend 5 feet to get back up. And so you won't lose all your movement when you get prone for whatever reason, right? And you also now gain the ability to redirect an attack. This will be a reaction and a key point. As you saw earlier, if I spend these, I can give somebody the condition to redirect their attack. What it actually does is just gives them a condition, and instead of hitting you, they can now only attack anything else, including your allies, right? So when they miss you with a melee attack specifically, you can spend the cost and make them attack a new target, which is really just, you know, anybody not you. It could be literally a bench, or it could be your ally, or it could be, you know, another opponent that you want them to hit. You don't have control over that, but at least they won't hit you. So level 7, you get Life of the Party, and this is where things could get a little confusing. So I will try to simplify this. Okay. So where is Life of the Party? So Life of the Party, every time you use an Intoxicating Strike and it hits, but not necessarily gets somebody drunk, this will give you the Life of the Party condition, which increases armor class just in general. You get 1 armor class per turn of this, and you will actually get 1 attack roll per turn of this against drunk targets. So this is only applicable against a drunken target, but you at least get the armor class benefit, okay? And this can stack for how many turns. So if you land the Intoxicating Strike, right, whether it's the bonus action or whatnot, even if you don't get them drunk, as long as you land the hit, you get 1 AC per turn and 1 attack against drunken targets per turn, okay? But this does end if you get attacked. Not get hit, get attacked. Life of the Party will end if you get hit or attack, or whether you get hit or not. If you're attacked, it's over. Okay? So just keep that in mind. Pretty stark for what it's giving you. Let's put this down. Ends if attacked, not hit or missed. Doesn't matter. Okay? But Sobering Realization at level 9. This is a combo follow-up move. If you can get them drunk, right, with the Intoxicating Strike, you can sober them up. So you hit a drunken target, sobering them up, dealing a bonus psychic damage. This is always 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier. And then on a successful hit, the monk also loses your Life of the Party if you had any stacks, okay? So you can get them drunk and then hit them with this. It's an action, 1 key point. It's always an unarmed attack. And if you can only use it on drunk targets. And it deals a bonus of 1d8 plus your wisdom of psychic damage, which, remember, psychic can be doubled up with the resonance stone. So you end the Life of the Party if you had any remaining stacks. And finally. Okay, so I think this is in the reactions tab, right? You have Drunkard's Luck. So whenever you use an ability check, an attack roll, or a saving throw, you can actually, if you have disadvantage, you can spend 2 key points on reaction. It's not even like a reaction point. If you're willing to spend 2 key points, you can undo the disadvantage, right? So if you were doing a dialogue check and you had disadvantage for any reason, you can undo it. If you were about to have like a dexterity saving throw and you had disadvantage on it, you can now undo that disadvantage, and so on and so forth. Even attack rolls, if you were, say, blind, you can kind of undo the disadvantage with this. Probably the more practical sense is when you're blind or something. Okay, so real quick, what's the drunk condition? What does that do again? Hold on, real quick. It says disadvantage. Okay, it's a condition, right? And now we can apply it with Intoxicating Strike. So it's disadvantage on dexterity and charisma. Oh, that's great. Checks. It's checks, not saving throws. This is very important. And again, I'm trying to leave a lot of commentary out of this, but this is the important thing because you're picking this up at level 3, the ability to make other targets drunk. You don't do any, it doesn't do anything until level 7 when you have Life of the Party. As far as I could tell, this is why I made a video about it, again. So I have to inject a little bit of commentary in it because there's not going to be much of a build time here. In fact, there is really no build time. There's not much to show here, and I do apologize. A big problem with this subclass is at level 3, you get Intoxicating Strike, and you also have Drunken Technique, which is just Flurry of Blows. Pretty good, actually. Really like it. 10 feet of movement with Disengage. Excellent. Okay, so that's awesome. But later on, even though you can get people drunk now by punching them in the face with an amazing animation, by the way, this doesn't do anything until level 7, as far as I could tell, with Life of the Party. And the other problem is, with Life of the Party, you lose these stacks when you are attacked, whether they hit you or not. So I can think of a pretty good use. If you keep building up your armor class, you're less likely to be targeted, especially with maybe the cloak that gives you disadvantage against targets, right? So if you're less likely to get targeted and you never do get targeted, there is a practical point to that, but then like you lose it if you use Sobering Realization, which in and of itself isn't that strong. And it all kind of comes back to level 3 where we have Flurry of Blows. This does 2 weapon attacks, or 2 unarmed attacks, for 1 key point on a bonus action, okay? If I were to use 1 key point and an action or a bonus action to do Intoxicating Strike, I could get them drunk. And then I can use another key point on the follow-up attack to get them more drunk, or just land the strike so I can get more Life of the Party. But remember, I lose Life of the Party if I use this move, which is another key point. So at this point I've spent 1 key point, 2 key points for 2 punches. I could have just spent 1 key point in a bonus action and done something else. So you can see a little bit of my frustration here and my concern that maybe I'm doing something wrong. You know, I'm not even bothering with saying this is weaker than Open Hand. They're both Kung Fu Punchy Monks focus of subclasses. I don't need to compare this to Open Hand, and I hate to say this, but I do hope for changes because I don't really get the point of this subclass mechanically, even though the animations are top tier, top shelf, if you will. I love this. I love just going up to somebody and going, boop. I've been having fun with the animations. I have not been having fun, and I cannot have fun making a video right now, even on a breakdown video, trying to not inject my opinion on this. I've played enough of this in honor mode now, and I really hope there's some changes. And if you have the capability of leaving feedback like I do, I think my only suggestion, and this is as far as I'll leave it, you guys have been saying this more than I have, please make this into a disadvantage on saving throws, especially for dexterity saving throws. This would make the cost of a key point absolutely worthwhile. And so if I had a teammate that is going to blast somebody with Lightning Bolt and I made them drunk, which makes a lot of sense, right? They're drunk, they're not going to dodge out of the way in time of a Lightning Bolt, they'll take full damage. So I don't know if that was the point, and this is always what drunk's been like as a condition, so I was really hoping Larian made a lot of additions to the subclass, and yet they don't seem to come together, because I'm not going to go to level 7 just to finally start getting some use of Intoxicating Strike when I have Flurry of Blows. That is actually really good on this subclass. 10 movement and Disengage is amazing. And there's also been the popular complaint that this is just not a worthwhile attack, and I'm not going to make recommendations beyond that, other than just, you know, Life of the Party already ends anyway for just getting a hit, which is fine. Also, you know, redirect is an applied condition that seems a little silly, that just like when I said Arcane Archer, when you redirect your arrow with that attack, it hits teddy bears and it hits benches and it hits boxes rather than they'll attack whoever, right? And it's cool that it can attack, they'll attack maybe an ally and you can set that up, but I'm not going to risk my monk going out there. So, alright, I try to keep a lot of my injected opinion on this out of the way, but I think these are objective problems, like concrete problems with the subclass, which is, for all the effort of the animations, I feel really bad. So I don't really have much more to talk about this, and I really don't want to. I hate to be a downer. you know, I've come to a sobering realization. Maybe this just isn't the greatest subclass. But I'm having fun with it in the current run on stream. So if you want to play this, here's some pointers. I highly recommend, since you might want to be a Kung Fu Drunken Master, you will still have fun with this subclass because Monk is really strong. So maybe go Tavern Brawler, typical Tavern Brawler, get high strength, or even use the elixirs of Cloud Giant Strength, okay? You do tons of damage, as you saw that earlier, right? Why Flurry of Blows? Well, Flurry of Blows is disgustingly efficient and good and strong and fun, right? You're going to get, at level 5, 2 punches from this, with no, you know, key points. And when you want to just go, you know, blitz mode, you can just punch him twice with this, punch him twice with this. You can even dive into Thief, right? The Thief is always a really good way to do multi-classing with, you know, Punchy Monk. Step of the Wind is amazing. Do not neglect this for 1 key point and a bonus action. If you're not in a condition or a situation to use Flurry of Blows, you should actually use your bonus action and a key point to get the hell out of dodge. Jump around. This gives you infinite jumping, by the way. As long as you have movement, you can jump as many times as you want. So you can get double your movement, or you can just disengage. So great option on monks. There's an offhand trick where you can actually give an ally the weapon you intend to put in your offhand, and then you can just switch it back over. So you can actually have an offhand weapon, you know, one-hander weapon, even if you intend to just be a punchy monk, so that's pretty good. And then the bracers of defense are really good early game bracers that a lot of classes aren't going to use anyway, and you can retain all your unarmored defense bonuses and still have 2 armor class, even though you're not wielding a shield or armor, right? And then there's the drunk gear that really just doesn't play into this subclass, sadly enough. I mean, it's okay. Like, while wearing this amulet, you regain a little bit of hit points per turn while drunk, and you increase the durations of drunk. You could be drunk for 10 turns. Woohoo! And then there's the Drunken Cloth. While drunk, you have advantage on Constitution saving throws, and you gain temporary hit points equal to your Constitution modifier. I don't think these really do anything directly in synergy with the subclass, but I wanted to mention them, and I'm using them in the current run. In fact, I'm using the Punch Drunk Bastard. Is a strength two-hander, like two-hander weapon property. It's a big club bludgeoning damage. It just doesn't synergize with monks, but I'm still using it because it's the drunk gear. I want to run that. So yeah, these don't really play into the subclass. If I could just recommend you that. It could be fun for style points, but mechanically it's not much there. But if you know better than me, I would love to hear it. I would love for this subclass to be good, and I'm just an idiot and I've just been drinking too much and I need to sober up. So you let me know, because currently, how do you level up and play this? Well, come watch the current subclasses only run. We're on the final run. We're finally playing the monk, and I'm finally realizing I love the animations, but I think there's an issue the subclass, and I really hope people add feedback before the patch is released, so this could be a really fun subclass. But just come watch the live stream. We have more fun. Even with the subclass and its issues, I've just been laughing my butt off at the animations, and you guys crack me up. So I play on honor mode to test this stuff, and I play on honor mode to encourage you to do the same, because I think it's the best mode, right? And I like answering comments in chat. If I really had ideas for the subclass, maybe a bar fighter, multi-class with fighter, doing a bar fighter. Obviously, you could use thief for a bonus action. I don't know. There's really a lack of interest here, to be honest. And that's sad, because I make these videos because I'm so in love with this game, and I love bringing you guys cool ideas and suggestions or building blocks to do your own fun stuff, and I really hope I can see some change in this subclass. Sorry to be a Debbie Downer again, but you guys make it worthwhile. I'm really happy you're my sponsors, and I wouldn't have it any other way, so thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the stream. We'll still have some fun with the punchy Kung Fu Drunken Master. And until next time, I'll see you then, alright? Take it easy, guys.